about this topic today, and I was almost like I was in my not my feelings, but I like to feel like that when you say Kanye, I don't care if you like old, new Kanye, there are classics, right? Like when people talk about Jay, there are things.
There are
There are
songs.
things, and we're here with that. And
but I think everybody disagrees on what that is.
I think so. I feel like if you don't got to pay no attention past the first 5, right? For Kanye, if you want to be a purist, like this is all like you're from here, you're from College Dropout to Dark Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
That's probably like the holy, like everything in between that happened there, no matter if you like it or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
So when you hear that and you're like, so I'm gonna need to know what your top Kanye song is. And then I was sitting there looking at these people like they better not say the wrong thing. Because I'm still a fan. I'm always going to end up probably being a fan. But it's like Devil in the New Dress is top 3.
Yeah, like that to me, that is easily top 3.
And I'm looking at people like, what you gonna say next?
Like to me, people never get the list right. I hate having this conversation with people. Like one person started off with Stronger, and I literally like
somebody said Stronger, and
I walked away from the conversation. Yep.
There's a hierarchy of these Kanye songs, and I will get dead ass 2009 Kanye fan serious about this conversation with you. If you say some wild shit to me, because We Major, I will rob a bank to We Major. I will.
Okay, all right. So the We Major thing, right?
Here we go.
Of course, I love that record. I love that record. There's no way you can hear We Major and not love it. But like, I'm not in love with it the way everybody else seems to be.
You said Diamonds from Sierra Leone. I hope you meant the remix because that's one of the greatest things ever.
Well, I mean, who listens to the other version?
It's on the album too. That's the funny part.
Okay. Who amongst us normal people?
Listens
to the other version?
It's on the album.
Sorry, I forgot my audience for a second.
It's just like 23 tracks long. It's like he has every other version on the back end of that album for some reason.
The thing with me is like, if you take them in a vacuum and you sit them next to each other, I still think Diamonds is the better song.
And I'm not mad at that at all because they're really good.
Go outside of the vacuum and like think about the first time you heard that song.
I think it was the radio.
And then you get to the end, and all of a sudden here's like, remember at this time Jay-Z was like a myth. He was in and out of being a real person or not. Like it was like we spotted him here, we spotted him there. Oh, there's a Jay-Z verse. Like that was one of the better ones.
It was like seeing Batman.
it was. At the same time, like think about how aggressively Kanye was rapping.
Yeah.
It's an ominous beat. Like the whole thing was just like
it's beautiful. It's dark.
It's gonna be different. This is gonna be different. We Major was really good. Like I loved it, but
like it's a Nas verse, and I'm sitting here like it makes me like my left neck itch a little bit because it's like damn, my favorite Kanye song is a Nas song, and it's a good Nas verse. I'm not about like objectively, it's a good Nas verse. Like I'm not about to sit here and say it's.
It is. I love We Major. Once again, like I said, for me. Late Registration is one of the most confusing albums there is because, like, all the songs are good.
Yeah. It's hard to pick.
Right. At first, you want to say, they're all good, so you want to be like, well, all of them.
All of them.
But then you start to listen to them, and you're like, no, that was definitely better than that one.
And you start going down the line. Because it used to be Addiction. Addiction was my favorite song.
Okay.
So I didn't start liking Addiction until recently.
That was my favorite song for a while.
Recently?
Yep. Couldn't stand it.
All right.
It bothered me.
First, so the first thing when you talk about like your favorite Kanye song or your favorite Kanye album or your favorite Kanye anything, the answer is never supposed to or going to be the same. Like so when y'all are like when you sit there and say that you're saying the wrong songs, you're not saying the wrong songs. That's just your answer for today. A week from now, like just like you didn't like Addiction, but now you like it. So at one point, your favorite Kanye songs were this, and then now you're saying that has changed, and that's the one you like. So I just wanted to start off with that. Whatever, y'all can continue, but
no, you're right.
There's no one.
No, but
there's like wrong one to say.
Yes, there's still a wrong. There's still
Somebody
a wrong.
said never let me down.
There are still wrong answers.
And I love Never Let Me Down.
There's
Also, okay, so I'm going to jump in. With that, I feel like too many people are focused on old Kanye. And I'm so happy somebody mentioned Follow God, because if that's not one of the hardest fucking songs, period, and the hardest fucking beats that Kanye ever put out, Follow God is fucking amazing. What else? Chitsy Ghost, top tier. I would put that up there with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. We have to pay attention to new Kanye.
We absolutely do. So I'm not really sure why we stopped at the first 5 albums.
My head's about to explode. All right,
because I feel like there's a point where people stop listening to Hove, and people have the same rules for him. Even though he has great stuff afterwards, it doesn't matter. I think after Black Album, there's a certain segment of people that they do not believe, like Hove stopped existing. Like music stopped existing, honestly, past 04, 05.
Got those 444 defenders.
There's the people, but it's like you also have American Gangster, which is one of the greatest produced albums probably.
And that was his last great album. Everything after that was just good.
He drops cool stuff. Good
Except 444, which was trash.
And then you get the his J Electronica album. His album.
Okay.
Right.
But I'm gonna defend J Electronica once again. Without him on those songs, that album does not work. We did not want to hear an entire album of Jay-Z.
No, not like NOI Jay-Z. I don't want to hear Islam.
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
So I mean, the thing is, so let me address the Kanye contingency here. Y'all are fans, like not even fans. Y'all have gone past what we consider fandom to be. To like there's fandom, there's tiers of fandom, right? You got like screaming girl at the concert, and then you got like the lady that poured the Kool-Aid for Jim Jones.
I drank the Kool-Aid and it was good.
This is where you guys are.
The Kool-Aid the Kool-Aid was good.
So when we're talking about it, like if we're having an objective conversation, nobody can ever say that Kanye makes bad music. That's not the point. Just the same way when Michael Jordan played for the Wizards and he only averaged 20 a game, we couldn't say he was bad. But I tell you what he damn sure wasn't. He wasn't 98 finals hold the pose nigga no more. So I don't give a damn if he scored 40 or 50 or even 60. What he wasn't was the most feared nigga that niggas ever seen on a court. So when we talk about him in different stages of his career, that's how we speak of it. When you talk about Kanye during Kanye's run, Kanye was the industry. That was it. It wasn't just the music he made for himself, but it was also the music that he made for other people. Not the people that he controlled. I mean the people who were beating his door down to get music from him. Kids See Ghosts. It's a decent project. I know at least 10 other artists that could have made that project. That's something I couldn't say about Kanye 12 years ago. When we heard Kanye records back in the day, there was only one person who could have done that, and it was him. When you hear Kanye records now, there's people who can do that. There's people who are doing that. Like, so it's not that it's not good. It's just that it's not the most whatever we've seen. Like I said, when he came out with Graduation, when we heard Stronger, as I dumped on that song earlier, when you heard that, you was like, okay, this is going to change things. And it did. Then he comes with 808s, and it's like, niggas' first response to 808s was, I hate that shit. And then everybody was crying with him. Like We were all crying with him after that. So it's like those records did things that were just unexplainable. He was, it was his time. There was nothing else but him. Think about it. You can't say that now. You can't say that now.
Throne. The timeline goes from College Dropout to Watch the Throne. That's the
Watch the Throne was
College Dropout that was Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
Everything from Yeezus
definitely deserves credit for that.
Is a separate, like that's a separate part of his career from Yeezus forward. So Danielle,
I was saying, are we about to talk about Yeezus and how it's a classic album?
Because this is the best part about these conversations. Because I live for these. Thanks for coming, Shy. The best part about these conversations is now I get to like objectively wear you out with Kanye. So we're gonna play a little game. Cause nerd to nerd, this is gonna be a little hard for you because truths are gonna have to be spoken.
Let me get my lighter. Hold on.
I've been waiting for this for like 3 years.
And the thing is, like, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. As a producer, I've been a Kanye fan. Like, you really couldn't like aspire to be a producer where we were all that age.
No, I wanted to make 5 beats a day for 3 summers.
Right. Like he that dude was the blueprint for real.
I think I did make 5 beats a day for 3 summers.
I attempted to.
I think I tried.
I was like, nobody's actually doing that.
No, that shit's hard as fuck. You about to make the same beat like 4 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what happens. You make 2 good ones, and then it's like, yo, I just made it.
Lock yourself away.
It's hard too to make yourself do that. It's harder now.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what locking yourself away does as a producer. It makes you want to kill yourself.
I mean,
you can't hear stuff anymore. Your drums don't sound right. You can't hear if you're off beat. You need fresh ears. So you start trying to.
Nothing goes right. You start to get mad. You start to like it. Yeah.
And then you leave it alone for a couple of days. Come back and you find just the right pattern. You just like, and you're looking in the mirror like, damn, I couldn't think of that a couple of days ago.
I spent 5 years not knowing when to walk away.
It's rough like that. Yep. So I've been waiting like 3 years for these questions, and I get to asking for you to your face. So in the vein of you saying that there are no wrong songs
mm-hmm.
on a list where people are saying, can't tell me nothing. I get that. That hits people the right way. I know. I understand it.
Yeah,
I want to drive a DeLorean in the desert. I wish I had that kind of money. And you're like, all right, can't tell me nothing. That makes sense. But if somebody says, get them high, I feel like the record scratches in real life and everybody just stops.
I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody says that shit, they're going to have to square up.
That's not it. Yeah, that's...
So when somebody says get them high, come on, son. That's one of them, right?
Emotional response. That's emotion, and that's not okay.
That's one of them. It'd be like, yo, the greatest Kanye songs of all time. Workout plan. Straight face. And it's like, and you just sit there, you're like.
Fucking 2 words.
2 words. Like when you really look back at it, as cool as his album was and in his time period, he shit all over his own debut album with his second album. He looked back at his first album and said, I could do better than this shit. And he did. And
as good as College Dropout was, and it's funny you say that. I'm not gonna lie. Late Registration took College Dropout a notch down to me. Like Late Registration was College Dropout was probably one of the best debut albums we've ever gotten from a rapper, considering you got Jesus Walks on that album.
He did the rare thing. It's rare.
Right.
I'm trying to think of when it happens. I don't recall it happening too many times in my lifetime.
It usually goes the other way.
Right.
Damn. I think Jeezy did it.
But oh no.
Is 102 not better than TM 101?
No. 102, and I know why you may think that, because
it's better produced for one.
It was better produced, and there was there's some bigger whatever, but no. 101 had just the right amount of everything.
nobody has ever released a sophomore project that shit on their debut. Maybe we could call DMX for that. Maybe
I was about to say maybe X.
Maybe X.
Maybe I think I could put Big in that category.
Yeah, his second album was better than his.
Life After Death ran all over
It
me.
was better.
Yeah.
But that's so rare, ain't it? Like
It is. It doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't.
In College Dropout, and I hate the way because I used to love it. This was my backpacker, you know, when I was my in my Kevin stage. This was my backpacker, and I used to walk around with my low ass MP3 player. It's like awesome RCA shit. And I used to have Spaceship and Never Let Me Down while as I'm getting on the bus and shit. You know, all of your little struggle songs and shit. And it's like when you look back at it now, he's made such significantly better music that it almost has devalued some of his own catalog. And I don't know how I'm supposed to reconcile with that. Like, how are we supposed to feel about that?
If you think about it, that was kind of my point that I was just making. When they bring up you know, albums like Jesus and Kids See Ghosts and whatnot, the problem is he's made music that's been so much better than that. When you get that, it's like, all right. I mean, it's almost kind of like what he said about Jay-Z. Like, you know, I didn't want the introspective Jay-Z. I wanted, you know, money, cash, hoes.
Mm-hmm. And when you don't get it, it's like, okay, cool. You get used to another hove, and it's like we'll say that hove was American Gangster hove. It's like, great, you get used to that hove. And then he gets older, and it's like, okay, so now we got yoga hove. That's what I call him in my head. So now we got like yoga and Pilates hove. I drink green juice in the morning and shit. You know what I mean? I got an altar hove. And so like now we're coming around to this nigga, and it took so people that didn't like 444 did like the J John because he's like, okay, so now I'm in my yoga, thinking ahead, out the box. I'm on my you know, my forward thinking shit, and he smashed the Jay Electronica album. It takes Jay at least one album of being the new nigga that he's morphing into to solidify the next nigga he is.
He's got to have a practice round.
That's a fair point.
444, but they love the Electronica John.
That's a good point.
People hated Kingdom Come, but they love American Gangster.
Because Kingdom Come is trash.
It is.
And to some people, they're like, man, that was terrible. He's washed up. He'll never be able to rap well again or make nothing. Then American Gangster comes out and niggas is like, oh.
Well, and listen, when American Gangster came out, I was still saying it because the first thing I heard from American Gangster was Blue Magic.
Blue Magic, and I hated Blue Magic.
And I was like, nigga, this is what you respond to Kingdom Come with? This shit? And then I heard Rock Boys, and then I was like, oh. And then Blue Magic sounded different to me.
I heard ignorant shit first, I think, and I was like, oh.
Well, we heard ignorant shit. We had got that on a Beats mixtape like years before that.
Years, and I was like, you put that on the album? Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
And then I heard my favorite sample, the Curtis Mayfield joint, Short Eyes, which is the title track. Nigga.
Well, that's funny you say that because my favorite sample is the Bad Guy sample.
Oh, Say Hello?
Yep.
And this is what happens. And that's the phase. I feel like it happens to every rapper, and it happened to Kanye. Because, you know, I wasn't really feeling his direction from Yeezus, but I actually kinda, and this is Danny's fault actually, because this is I think when I first met you, even online.
Don't do it.
When Life of Pablo came out.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, go on.
That was the time frame I think when we had when Soundbite we had just got on group, and I think Life of Pablo had just come out. And going back to it, it's not perfect, but there's more than a few tracks on this album, including the Bleach My Asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that shit, but
I like the first part of that song, and then I turned it off.
I love Famous a lot. And I do listen to like fucking 30 Hours. Like I do think that shit is fire.
I do like 30 Hours. Yes.
30 Hours is fire. Like, and I listen and real friends is cool. And it's like, yo, I really do like this album kind of sort of. And I was like, yo.
Fuck My Life.
But I didn't like it from Yeezus. So for Yeezus was the starting point for Weirdo Kanye. It got better with Life of Pablo.
All right.
And,
So
this is the move. And now he's in gospel mode.
I am happy to hear you say that The Life of Pablo was better than you first thought it was.
So Life of Pablo, right? This was the album when I started disliking all Kanye fans. Because
we were super annoying. We were super
I don't like Yeezus. Like, I've listened to it countless amounts of times and I just don't like the album, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why people do.
Okay.
So I don't fight it that much.
Okay.
So I moved on from that, right? We get to The Life of Pablo. And if I had a podcast when this album came out, I would have done to him what Joe Budden did to Drake when Drake gave us Views.
Oh, would have destroyed him.
This was Kanye's Views.
Oh.
This was absolutely
harsh, man.
No, it's not.
It's really bad. Like, I want people to understand
it's a bad album that has really good songs, though.